Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks was on C-SPAN last week, and he answered a viewer's question about progressives. Let's watch.
I'm just tired of all this progressive nonsense saying that. Do they know that the Democrats, all they do is tax and tax and tax the working man? That's all they do is tax the working man so they could fund their progressive programs. I got to work 2 jobs. I was never rich my whole life, so don't say like I'm a corporate puppet or something, because I'm not. I just worked my whole life, and I was never rich. And all I see is every year more and more taxes coming out.
Okay, Tommy, I want to give Cenk Uygur a chance to respond. We're running low on time.
Tommy, you might be surprised at how much I'm on your side. Why is Mitt Romney paying 13% taxes in the 1 year that he knew he was running for president? I guarantee you he was paying a lot less than that. Why is he hiding his money in the Cayman Islands, which we know for a fact that he did? But why do they all get to hide their money in Panama and Cayman Islands and all these different places? Because they're putting the tax burden on you, Tommy. They're not paying the taxes. And why? They rigged the rules. That's the crony capitalism you hate. So they get to have fancy tax loopholes that their accountants arrange. You don't have money for the kind of accountants that they have. You don't have the money to donate to politicians like they do. So they pay almost no taxes. So many giant corporations. I like Apple a lot. I got an iPhone, etc. But I don't like that they pay 0% taxes a lot of years. They're the most profitable company in the world. Why are they paying 0% taxes? When they pay 0%, you know what happens? You pay more. The reason you're being taxed so much more is because they shifted the tax burden on you. The rich and the corporations redistributed the wealth from you to them. They didn't redistribute it to the most powerless people in the country. They redistributed it to the most powerful people in the country. That's what I'm trying to help you see.
So that's all true, and I'd actually go a step further here, and many of you guys have heard me make this argument before. I think it's one of the biggest myths in politics that the Republicans are the party of tax cuts. They're not. So you can go back and you look at the proposals from the Democrats and the Republicans going back to Ronald Reagan. You go from the 1980s and onward, and what you'll find is the Democrats unfailingly propose tax cuts, or at the very least keeping taxes the same for people in the bottom 90%, and oftentimes it's the bottom 95%. Whereas the Republicans, they want to oftentimes raise taxes on the bottom 90 to 95% of people, and they only want to cut taxes on the top 5%, or at most 10%. So you're talking about the people who are the most well off in the country perpetually getting tax cuts, and the average people, regular people, getting their taxes increased under Republicans. But they're brilliant marketers, so what do? They go out there, and every day you hear them say it and you hear them repeat it until it's so deep in your mind that you can't help but parrot it when the issue comes up, where they argue, we're the party of tax cuts. Republicans are the party of tax cuts. We're the party of tax cuts. We're the party of tax cuts. We're the party of tax cuts. And even many well-meaning Democrats say, oh, yeah, the Republicans are the party of tax cuts. But wait, that's not true. So if the Democrats cut taxes consistently or keep the rates the same for the bottom 90%, and the Republicans raise it for the bottom 90%, why wouldn't the Democrats argue, no, we're the party of tax cuts? We cut taxes for more people in the country. Poor people, middle-class people, they get tax cuts under us. The only people that get it under you are the rich. Everybody else gets a tax hike. So why wouldn't the Democrats steal that trick? Because it's actually true to say the Democrats are the party of tax cuts. And as I've said before, I've never met a tax cut for poor people and middle-class people that I didn't fall in love with. So, and then here's where people fire back and they say, well, wait a second, how can you afford the things you want to fund, Kyle, if you have lower taxes on the middle class and the poor? And my answer is, it's easy to afford those things. We just have to reallocate where our tax money goes. So, yeah, you can cut taxes for the middle class, and you can cut taxes for the poor, and you can still fund universal health care. You can fund universal education. You can fund daycare. You can fund paid vacation time by law. You can fund infrastructure. It's just a matter of cutting The military, which is bloated, and we have the military-industrial complex, and over 50% of discretionary spending goes to the military. Cut that. Cut pork barrel spending. Cut the billions of dollars a year we give in corporate welfare checks and we give to financial institutions for no goddamn reason. So all you have to do is cut corporate welfare, cut unnecessary subsidies, bring back the money from the tax havens that the corporations have stashed overseas, reallocate the funding, cut military, and you can have low taxes on the middle class and the poor and still fund universal healthcare, universal education, and things that the government should be doing. So it breaks my heart because there are a lot of good people out there who are honestly genuinely victims of this fucked up system, where they view the Democrats as, no, they're hurting me, and I'm going to vote for the Republicans, because in their mind, all they know is they hear Democrat and they think they're coming to take more of my money. They want to tax me more. Whereas the Republican, for all their other flaws, and they might not like a million things about him, at least they want me to keep more of my own money in my own goddamn wallet. And these are people who, honestly, they're low-information voters. They don't follow the ins and outs of politics. They don't know all the nuance and the detail. They don't read articles on a regular basis. And it's not their fault. Many of them are, like this guy said, I'm working 2 jobs. He doesn't have fucking time to do it, so I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But this is the fault of the media for not telling people the reality, and it's also the fault of the Democrats for not marketing themselves properly and telling people very clearly, no, hold on. We're better on 2 fronts. We're better because we want to let you keep more of your own money because we are the party of tax cuts for you. And on top of that, the money you pay in taxes, we want to put towards shit that makes sense. We don't want to just give it to billionaires. We don't want to just give it to corporations. We don't want to just give it to the military-industrial complex and invade 912 places and fund 900 military bases around the world. So we let you keep more of your money, and the money you give us, we actually put towards shit you like. This is the argument the Democrats should make. We're the party of tax cuts, not you. So Cenk is right to point out all that stuff that he pointed out there, but I think the Democrats have just been totally destroyed in the framing on taxes. They really have, because you're never going to convince people that the government taking more of their money is a good thing. Even if you tell them, hey, this money's going to go towards all this good stuff, they're still going to say, why can't I pay the same amount I'm paying now, or why can't I pay less and you fund that good stuff? And the American people are right to say that. That's the point I'm trying to get at here. So we need to attack that myth that the Democrats are the party of tax hikes. They're not. They're the party of tax cuts for the overwhelming majority of the American people. So the sooner we get that argument out there, and the sooner we make it land, and the sooner we bust up the myth that the Republicans are the party of tax cuts, the better off we are. And then we'll actually have people like this on our side. And this guy's not a bad guy. You know, you listen to him talk and you think, well, he's not like Ted Cruz or Rick Santorum, where he's like, I hate the gays, and that's why I'm voting for Republicans, you know? I want to control women's bodies, and that's why I'm voting for Republicans. It's none of that stuff. The guy didn't even mention war and foreign policy, like, oh, I want to invade people and kill people. No. This is living in the Northeast, and maybe I'm biased in that sense, but living in the Northeast, this is the most common argument I hear from people who support Republicans. It's, I just want to keep more of my money. And if they knew, because unfailing these people are middle class who tell me this, if they only knew that you will keep more of your money voting for Democrats and you'll get better social services, then the argument would be over. So it's time to reframe this and win on the framing, because we can do it, because the facts are on our side.